We begin this morning with breaking news. The U.S. Supreme Court has just released 6 bombshell opinions on some of the biggest cases of the year. And among the final decisions, one that could impact President Trump's plan to end birthright citizenship and a Texas case requiring age verification for access to some websites. Political reporter Jack Fink joins us now with more on these decisions. Jack, what stands out to you?
Well, Madison, the first order that came down, all 119 pages of it, is getting the most attention and can be considered a partial victory for President Trump and his administration. The Supreme Court ruled 6-3 that the Trump administration could begin planning to partially enforce the president's executive order to end birthright citizenship while the merits of this case are still being considered by a lower federal court. President Trump just spoke a short time ago at the White House.
It wasn't meant for people trying to scam the system and come into the country on a vacation. This was, in fact, it was the same date, the exact same date, the end of the Civil War. It was meant for the babies of slaves, and it's so clean and so obvious. But this lets us go there and finally win that case because hundreds of thousands of people are pouring into our country under birthright citizenship, and it wasn't meant for that reason.
And while the president has expressed his opinion, we want to be clear, the Supreme Court's decision today does not weigh in on whether the 14th Amendment that has up until now guaranteed citizenship to all people born in the United States is constitutional. Instead, what the justices did is limit what's called nationwide injunctions, in which a single federal district judge decides to put a nationwide hold on a law, which is what happened in this particular case. An appellate attorney in Dallas, David Cole, tells us for now, the Trump administration will be able to move forward partially with its executive order to end birthright citizenship.
The court was voiding any order that kept the administration from planning ahead about how they were going to go forward and enforce and implement this executive order. So during that period of time, the administration is free to make plans and think, okay, we're going to do this, we're going to do that, we're not going to do this. And there's no order that blocks them from doing that.
Also today, the Supreme Court upheld a Texas law that requires pornography websites to verify the ages of their customers. It was a 6-3 ruling by the conservatives, and Justice Clarence Thomas wrote the opinion for the court and said age verification is within a state's authority to keep children off these sexually explicit sites. The state law was written by Republican Representative Matt Shaheen of Prosper 2 years ago. And in a statement this morning, Shaheen said, quote, "This Supreme Court ruling is a triumph in our duty to protect children from the adult industry, whose goal is to create lifetime customers by peddling porn to sexualize and groom children." The legislature passed similar legislation this past session, and so this Supreme Court ruling will likely have a lasting impact. Madison?
Jack, obviously a lot of details you're going to continue to pour through. We appreciate the perspective in these early hours.